I'm going to be doing my version of Frank N Furter makeup. Not saying my way is the only way or the best way or anything, but if it's helpful to somebody out there, that's pretty awesome. This is what I used originally as my reference photo. I'm starting with an ivory liquid oil-free foundation. This is just a little lighter than my skin tone, and it helps me get the white effect a little easier. I'm going to do about halfway down my neck. I prefer powder white. Start out with like a light coat all over. Taking this below my chin and about halfway down my neck. I use a cream blush, and this is for my shading. And I always start with clean brushes. I always wash my brushes between every application of makeup. And what I want to get first, most precise line is the line on either side of my nose. So that's what I do first. And don't worry if it looks really, really dark. My nose is not as wide as Tim's, so I do the spread a little wider to kind of give a little bit more of that wider nose shape. If I make a mistake or something, I really don't like the way it's looking, this is my secret weapon. This is just a little thin little square brush. I take it with my virgin white and I just get a good amount here. And if I see, oh, I don't like that line, I'm just gonna kind of pat over that, and it's like a magical eraser. That lets me kind of clean things up a little bit. The line kind of rides right along the cheekbone. It's not under it. It's just, it's right along that edge. So that's what I'm going to do. Start near the lip and ride high across the cheekbone. And make a nice sharp point here and take it back to the corner of my ear. And now guys who might be doing this might actually have sideburns. I obviously do not. I draw mine on, so, and they actually do extend below the shading down here, so I don't really worry so much if this gets a little messed up. I'm more concerned about that top edge and this corner, keeping it nice and clean. Next, I'm going to do a little shading up here above my eyebrows just to kind of close in my forehead a little bit. Most of this is going to be covered by my wig, but I do it anyway. If you want to do quick and dirty Frank makeup, this is one of the first things I'd say to skip. Last thing I do is I color in this little bit right here. Even though that's not really part of his makeup, his upper lip protrudes a lot more than mine does. It's a lot horsier. So I'll put that in, and then you'll see as I do the highlighting, I highlight my upper lip to make it protrude a little more. So the first thing I'm going to do is nose. Basically the only makeup that I use at all that's cream, other than the eyeliners, is the contouring. I prefer to use all powders. They tend to not melt as easily. And I also do the outside of my nostrils to give a little bit more of a flare than mine normally have. Just take this up here, lighting here, there, upper lip I told you about. Really important, never mix your brushes. One brush per color. everything can stay really clean. Alright, I'm just doing a little half moon here of my chin. Right at the top of the cheekbone. You can see why I like to use this eyeshadow instead of the same powder I use on the base of my face, because it does actually show up a little whiter. I'm going to take my Virgin White again and just go over the whole thing. This softens out all the shading, makes it a little more subtle. It also sets it so it doesn't run. Just got to be really careful around the nose, just pat there rather than rubbing so the line stays intact. What I'm trying to achieve is to have the bottom point of the gray kind of be even with my tear duct. That's kind of that first order of business when I'm doing the shape of my eyes, to not go lower than here. So for this I do blow on the brush. I don't want any of this excess to spill down on me when I do it. And I tend to get really close to the mirror, so I hope you can see this. My eyebrows are actually a tiny bit higher than Tim's, but basically you just want to work with what you have. You know, if you have really low eyebrows, by all means go above them if you don't have that spread. My eyes are set a little closer together than Tim's, so I kind of cheat a little and angle my line a little outward at the top. Just a tiny bit. Just to give a little bit of extra space. And then I'm going to come, not from here, the tear duct, I'm going to come up from above that to meet this line. Kind of right about there. And I'm going to take the edge here and fill in just a bit. This line kind of ends right at his eyebrow. Well, my eyebrow actually ends quite a bit shorter than his, so I'm just going to take it a tiny bit out, but not down to here. It's, you know, try to keep that real upward angle is what I'm going for here, shape-wise. So just kind of one length of that brush, nice and wide, and connect. Using that same gray color, and just going to do a basic coverage here. And this line, you know, you can get a little softer with it on the outside if you want. It's really actually blended a little bit, but if you're, you know, paranoid about messing up that line, by all means use the smaller angle brush to fill in the outside edge like did with the inside edge. And just right above, not too thick, right above the brow. I favor the pointier eyebrow look. I also kind of favor that lab seam look where it's a little thicker right at the point. Not really 100% happy with that, so I get my little magical tool. There's no point. Extends a little beyond the tear duct. Not a bad idea to have Q-tips in your kit. Just want to stay nice and close to your lash line. Line up. It's really hard to get it precise, but we are going to be using eyeshadow over it, so if it's a little wonky, don't freak out. If you're looking for shortcuts, definitely you can skip that step. Take this and this can kind of soften that messy line there a little. You don't need to really put it on until it's opaque. You just want it to be darker than your gray. But keep in mind we're doing another coat of gray. And that same amber brush we used before. And just do a secondary coat. And this time we're really concentrating on covering the hair on the eyebrows. You really want to use that angle to kind of darken there. If you feel you've lost a little sharpness on this corner here, you can take that little brush and re-establish it. You can also take your little magical eraser brush and blot along this edge. Get that nice sharp corner back. I draw on some sideburns on. You may prefer to glue yours on. I like to draw mine. Nice and sharp. And just a little. Like I said before, this extends below the shading towards the jawline. You know, this was the 70s. Big sideburns. Nice and bushy. This is a good time to do any last minute checks, clean anything up before the wig goes on. It's time for lips. First thing I do is actually put on the bulk of the red. I'm just going to get a little on. Not going to worry too much. I got the shape. Take my lip brush. Okay. Never use the same pencil on my eyes as on my lips. That's just asking for infections. So 2 black pencils. Kind of put that all over, including a little bit over that black liner. So be careful not to go outside the black liner. And I'm going to let it sit for a second or so. Very lightly. Oh, always check the teeth. And that is the anal retentive basic Frank face plus wig. Yeah, that's basically it. Bye.